don't even need a microphone. You can project so well.
I've got a lot of coffee, all right? This is great. How's your con going? How's your con going?
Honestly, it's the best one yet.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's
Thanks,
great
Steve.
here in Dallas.
You're on fire.
Oh, thank you.
What are we going to talk about today?
Anything you want. We're here to listen.
Are we going to go with lies, truth, some combination?
I say I like a combo. Yeah, can we squash rumors, or do you want to start rumors?
How about spoilers that really piss off CBS and Paramount? That's my strongest suit.
You could probably get away with at least one or two, right?
Let me tell you what happened to me. I was doing a panel, and one of the moderators said, you know, Next Generation, they never did a Mirror Universe episode. I said, no, they never did. What do you think of that? I said, well, I've always enjoyed the Mirror Universe. As a matter of fact, I'm directing an episode of Discovery right now. And that through the, you know, and by the time we got to dinner, the head of CBS Publicity had me on the phone. You have ruined everything we worked for the entire year. You undermined the entire franchise. And I felt like I was in fucking kindergarten.
Yeah, like you're with the principal in trouble.
It was horrible. I said, I'm the biggest advocate for Star Trek out there.
Yeah.
I am the most positive pro-Star Trek person in the whole, you know,
Universe.
Shatner when he's on, but also, he was in great form. Did you see him this weekend? First of all, he's 93 years old.
Amazing.
Completely compos mentis. Funny, ironic, curious. He, you know, and he's fat enough, he looks young.
Because it smooths out the wrinkles.
He was very impressive. I was very, very impressed with him. Anyway, so I won't be breaking any news. Except you know about the Starfleet Academy?
Tell us more.
Right? You know who's starring in Starfleet Academy?
Tell me.
Holly Hunter. Am I right?
Wow.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a big actress. It's like an award-winning actress. I went to do Strange New Worlds, and part of the prep on that show, which I never had on other shows before that, is that in the director's prep schedule are these interviews, meetings, 15, 20, whatever, with everyone in the cast before you start to work, which I thought was a great idea. But I knew Anson, I knew Rebecca, I'd done 3 shows with her, I knew Ethan. But I had a meeting with somebody who I have adored for years and fanboyed on, Carol Kane. Right? Out of left field, like a Carol Kane on Strange New Worlds. So I was like a kid. And she couldn't have been nicer. And she was as funny as you can imagine. Everything about her was.
Were you nervous?
I was nervous.
Were you stuttering? Could you get over
I did
that?
a little stuttering. I asked for a picture and an autograph. And then I had a long scene with she and Jack Quaid. It was the episode where hey, how about Tawny Newsome and Jack Quaid in that crossover episode? Called Those Old Scientists. Those two are astounding. And she's sneaky good too. So I suspect Holly Hunter's going to bring the same thing. They're so experienced. They're so fabulous. They're going to bring a new color, like my boy, like Jason Isaacs as the captain in the beginning of Discovery. What a great actor! But he brought a new color into the oeuvre, if you will.
Yeah, but Star Trek is known for that. It's a great word. It's a great word. Everybody's looking it up right now. Dictionary.com. I actually have the app. Star Trek has definitely been
alive and well,
and really ahead of the game since the beginning.
It's about the future, you know.
Which is now. Can you believe it?
That's the nature of the game. Now I don't know about 900 years into the future.
We're doing pretty well for ourselves.
How's Riker gonna get on that show? That's what I keep thinking. That's a long way off. Hologram, maybe?
Yeah.
Time travel, one of my strongest suits. Look at this attendance so early in the morning.
Artificial.
And what's wrong with that side of the house?
Is it cold over there?
It's hot up here, a lot up here. It's hot up here, we're dying. You know the song?
No, keep going.
Sunday in the park with George. You know who's in Sunday in the Park with George?
No.
Mandy Patinkin, Bernadette Peters, and Brett Spiner. Me! Sunday in the Park with George.
Wow. Your vocal cords are
I'm on
amazing.
fire.
For this early. Did you warm up in the hotel room?
Oh, Laurie! Oh, Johnny! How about that shit? Right?
I love it. You have everybody singing in unison.
Woo!
He's on fire
Maybe one
already.
too many coffees. Right up, I should have gone for the half calf.
I never. Are you a coffee? You're just a coffee man? Do you do any kind of energy drinks, tea?
Coffee's plenty. This is not the 80s.
What do you do? Whew.
Y'all remember the 80s?
Well, I better put that baggie away then.
And we're lucky to be here.
Do you drink your coffee black? Or do you put sugar, cream? What do you do?
See, another 80s joke you can't say.
I have a feeling.
Cream.
Cream, just cream.
Soy milk. No. Nut pods. That's what I do. You know, because I live healthy. I have a healthy lifestyle
You look great.
for an older gentleman. My hair used to be black. I used to have more of it. My beard was black.
I understand that. I dye mine. Don't look close.
That surprises
You
me.
know, I've got a lot of grays up in there.
I'm married to the beautiful and talented Jeannie Francis. You know who Jeannie Francis is? And about a year ago, or a year and a half ago, she was looking at me. We've been together 39 years last week, by the way.
Congratulations.
Like this, she looked at me and she went over to the other side like this. She said, honey, your whole beard is white. I said, it's been white for fucking years. What have you been looking at? It was like it was a surprise to her.
It was the total transformation.
I guess, but it's
Did it come in
not
little
like
by
it's new.
Was it coming in little by little, the white?
Yeah, but that was ages ago.
But as a wife, you know, you start looking at just
I know.
details.
I've
the
heard. Are you
details.
married?
Not anymore. My
Oh my
divorce is
God.
finalized here in 2 weeks, I think. I'm a single lady. I wear a ring on this finger. It confuses people, but no.
How do you feel? Do you feel free?
Now I'm starting to. It took a little time, but I'm starting to feel there. I can't wait to sign those papers and make it official, you know? Because then I can tell all the boys I'm divorced. Versus,
Oh, yes.
I'm separated, I live in my own house, you know, all those details. I'm like, now I can say, it's over, you know?
So-
And move on.
Tech a veil, as they say.
Ooh. Say that one more time.
Technically available.
Oh, technically available. Oh.
That's when they're casting people, and they put out a list of the actors that they would like to have, like Holly Hunter. The list comes back from the agents or from the studio, and they would say next to it, Holly Hunter, tech avail,
Oh,
pending offer.
oh.
There's a little inside baseball.
Yeah, I like that.
Jonathan Frakes, tech avail, make it offer.
Call him. Just waiting for that phone to ring.
Costs less than Sir Patrick Stewart.
Fabulous. Oh, that's good.
And Brett Spiner. And LeVar Burton.
Well, before I throw it to the audience to ask questions,
You got a couple of your own, I assume.
I have a couple, a few
What are you
usually.
going to talk about?
Well, I'll get serious.
Are you serious?
I'll get serious.
I knew this was coming. I'll get serious too.
You've been in the industry for a little while?
True.
Just a little while. How do you think it's changed since you first joined to now?
It's a good question. There is a mandate for diversity now that should have been in place decades ago. There's a specific thing that has changed my part of the business. It's called the AR wall. You know about the volume, the AR wall, which is a new technique where it's 30,000 LED lights. You know what I'm talking about?
Ming-Na Wen was telling me about it yesterday.
Oh, is Ming-Na still here?
I don't know if she's still here today,
So she's worked on it.
but she's...
This is a game changer. The limitations are that the artists, if you will, who create the piece, that it's like a huge horseshoe. It's 30 or 40 feet high, 30,000 LED lights. We have one, in Toronto that we use on Discovery and on Strange New Worlds. But they need 13-week lead time to create and you could do the jungles of Africa, you could do the streets of Paris, you could do all these alien planets, and you could have explosions, and you could have characters literally moving on the wall. It's changed everything about shooting. Instead of standing in front of a green screen and trying to explain to the actors, oh, and now the Romulans are going to shoot from over there, and then the other ship's going to shoot from there, and I have to run back and forth with a stick with a tennis ball on it, go like this, boom, and their eye line can go like that and that. That's how we used to make action.
Yeah.
Now they can just literally, they are wrapped in a room like this, everything that they're seeing. So that's been the biggest change in the filmmaking part of it I've seen in my lifetime.
It's probably easier
That's a
for
pretty
you.
serious answer.
Yeah, I was like,
It's not easier because you can't shoot it the same way.
But to get in the mood, does it get you in that
it's
mood?
easier than
You
trying to
feel like
explain
you're
to
there?
somebody. It's self-explanatory.
Yeah. If you guys do have questions, there is a mic in the middle of the room, by all means. No running, but you can line up.
Look who's right up first, Star Wars #1 fan.
Is that why you chose that seat so close? You were like, I could just get
You read my mind.
Hi.
Hello. So it's about this movie you've made.
Is that Clockstoppers?
Clockstoppers.
I love Clockstoppers.
I love it too.
Family film.
Yes.
Now, wouldn't Clockstoppers make a wonderful children's television series?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Whoever got the clock or the timepiece or whatever it was, you could stop time and learn about what happened while time stopped, or adjust what mistake you made and come back and fix it. I think it's a great premise for a YA television show. You know what I'm saying?
Youth adult.
Young adult. Tech avail.
But yeah, my question is basically, what are your thoughts on this movie years?
Dude, I just gave you my thoughts.
I'm starstruck. I'm sorry. It's still morning.
I thought that was a wonderful movie. It was made for a number, and it made money, and it was my first non-Star Trek movie. It had the great Gail Ann Hurd, who's our producer, who was James Cameron's producer on Aliens. Julia Pister was the producer for Nickelodeon. It was, Michael Biehn was in it, who was spectacular.
French Stewart was in it too.
He was a riot. Yeah, it was wonderful, and it was just off genre enough that it got me out of the spaceship for a minute.
Well, thank you very much.
I'm glad you brought that one up instead of Thunderbirds.
No. All right, thank you very much.
Mon plaisir.
Thank you.
Well, we missed Star Wars for you, basically. There's a Star Wars at the main theater, so we sacrificed to be here for you, basically. So thank you.
We missed one.
There's Star Wars that's going in the main theater right now. A lot of people came here to see you, so thank you for being here.
I appreciate the choice. And when you say Star Wars is going on in the main theater, you mean?
Their panel.
Oh.
What, Star Wars?
Yeah.
What is that?
Here.
Carla Esposito and Alan Tudyk and a few others.
Okay. I'm grateful you're here. I would not have scheduled the 2 panels at the same time, but that's for other.
My question is about, so when you were filming not Discovery, Strange New Worlds, Rebecca Romijn Stamos and Anson Mount talked about it.
Stamos is gone from her name, by the way.
Oh, sorry.
Rebecca Romijn.
Rebecca Romijn, sorry about that.
Married to Jerry O'Connell.
Right, I know. He was there. He was at our con 2 weeks ago in Houston, but they talked about an incident where
He was there dressed as her.
Yes.
Am I right from X-Men?
Yeah, dressed as Zeke.
He's fearless.
It's crazy. But anyway, they basically had a scene from an audition that you did, and they surprised you while you were directing an episode.
Very true.
Can you talk about that?
I'd rather not. It was an audition that I did for a character on Welcome Back, Kotter. Remember that show?
Wow, yeah.
And I was in New York. I think I was on the doctors, and I went on tape, which is before we went on tape with your phone. I went into some studio, put it on tape for the producers who were in LA. And for some reason, if I'm not mistaken, the character had an English accent. Does that ring a bell? Did you see this video?
I have not seen it.
No. It was too long. It was not very well acted, but it was a great prank. And it was Anson Mount who dug this thing up.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi, Jonathan. I'm Bryce, and I was wondering if you dream about Thomas Riker at night and all the romances that could have been on TNG, because I think I've dreamed about it.
Thomas Riker was Will Riker's clone, doppelganger, whatever he was. Marina Sirtis, my wonderful television wife who plays Troy, always said she thought Thomas Riker was much cuter than Will Riker. She's been living off that for years. My question about Thomas Riker has always been, why is he still in jail? Right? What about Kira? What about my friend Nana, visitor? She couldn't come and bail me out of fucking jail? And then Thomas and Kira could have had a thing. Right?
Right.
No, I don't dream about it, but I think about it whenever you bring it up. I had a dream 2 nights ago about a pizza, a slice of pizza that was like the size of this stage. And out of it were coming, they look like stalagmites, things that grow up.
Yeah.
What do you think that means?
Your hunger was growing. Wow. Was that good?
Take a veil. Big brain. Good imagination. Are you taping? Please don't tape. I beg you. I beg you. Read the small print.
Thank you for making our sci-fi dreams come true, Jonathan.
The pleasure's mine.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice to meet.
Thank you.
Hi, warm.
Yeah. You said you were Brent Spiner earlier, but based on the amount of coffee you seem to have had, I'm starting to think you're a character played by Kate Mulgrew.
Janeway liked her coffee.
So my question is, so you're a director. What kind of project have you not done that you would probably like to do?
I'd like to do a musical. Desperately seeking a musical. What do you think?
Ooh, can I star?
Yes.
Yes.
Can you sing?
A little.
Can you dance?
I'm more of an alto now.
Alto.
Oh, I'm a
can sing.
dancer. I danced for 20 years. I love dance. That's
And are you available?
Check a veil.
Thank you very much. See? That's how the team
Pending
works.
offer.
Thank you. And I did like Thunderbirds.
You and my mom.
Hi, so you have one of the unique positions of starting as an actor and transitioning over time to the position of director. What was it like during that period as you were transitioning from still playing William Riker to starting to direct some Star Trek and branching out into other projects? What was that transition like?
Early in the run of Next Generation, it became very clear to me, I mean, I knew this from having acted on other shows, but in the acting business, especially when you're a regular on a TV series, it's mostly waiting. You probably can tell, I don't wait well. It's not my strongest suit. You can only take so many naps. Brent was a great napper, he could take a nap. So I just used to go back on Robert Mitchum. You know who Robert Mitchum is? Famous movie star from the 50s. Allegedly said, "They pay me to wait, I act for free." That's how much waiting there is.
Oh my gosh.
So I used to go back on the set when I wasn't working and spend all the time and clearly the energy center, the vortex, if you will, was obviously where the director and the cinematographer, the first AD, were huddled around these monitors, and from which all the ideas of how the scene was going to be done evolved. So I shadowed every director for 3 seasons. And then at some point I realized I know a little bit about blocking, I know a little bit about talking to actors, but I didn't really understand the essentials of editing. So I went and I asked Rick Berman, who was running Star Trek, if I could have some time in the editing room. So I spent like 300 hours in the editing room with these very, very generous, Bob Letterman, one of them, editors who also wanted to direct. So it was especially generous of them to share their time with me. And then I started to go to pre-production meetings in which they would talk about the scripts that were coming up and what they would have to take out of the budget to get onto it, and what sets were needed to build. Then I go to visual effects meetings where they talk about trying to find the number that which we do still when we have prep. You're given X amount of dollars to do the visual effects, and it has to be amortized over the 26 episodes. And so I learned a little bit about that, and I go to the casting sessions. And then one of my favorite parts of the whole gig was going, because at that point, Dennis McCarthy, who was our composer, we literally had an orchestra, and they literally did it in the Paramount sound stage. It was like being in a movie. So when the show was cut together, you could go and watch the show be scored. And I took advantage. We kiddingly call it Paramount University, but I was so lucky to get in all those doors because I was on the lot, I was on a show, I was clearly hungry to learn everything I could. And at one point, I used to come in every day that I wasn't working and go to these meetings, all that stuff. And I remember specifically, I was living in Jeannie's house in Tarzana, and I wasn't working as Riker on that day, and I said, "No, Bean, I think I'm gonna stay home and just hang out." And she said, "That's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for you to lose interest, because nobody wants to give an actor a directing job, really. Nobody wants to be responsible for that if he can't do it, and then other people have to do the work. We've all seen that happen." So I got in a fucking car, I went to work, and so I had my wife to thank. And then eventually, they relented, and as is true more then than now, I mean, we did 26 episodes a year, so they weren't all gonna be home runs, if you know what I mean. But the one I got was a show called The Offspring, which is a story about Data building a daughter. It was written by Renee Echevarria, it was his first episode. It was his spec script that the great Michael Pillard had taken under his wing. It was my first effort as a director, and I had, the company we were friends, so it was, and it was a Data show, and Brent's brilliant, but Data shows almost always are great. So I had a lot of stars lined up for my first episode to work, and it worked very well, and then I was able to. So there's the long-winded answer. I apologize.
Thank you so much.
But that's amazing. You took initiative, and a lot of people, even in regular day jobs, if you want to move up, you have to take initiative. You have to step forward and go, "I want to learn this," because nobody will know that you want to learn it if you don't say something.
Right, and also I'm a better director than I was as an actor. I think because I took it so seriously, I learned one of the things you learn in the editing room is if you're in trouble, which is, the biggest part of directing television, or one of the biggest, is that you got to get this shit done on the amount of time you have. And if you're one of those guys that everything has to be, you know, I have a plan for this and I haven't executed it yet, or we have to go 20 takes or 30, they're not gonna bring you back. You gotta get the shit done. You gotta get the car built in 7 days, and that part of the car has to be done by, you know, 10 o'clock tonight. So that means when you get in trouble, you have to know how few shots you need to get that 1.5 page scene so the editor can actually save it for you. And you have to decide early in the day or early in prep which scenes are important enough that they need all kinds of elegant camera work, and which scenes essentially are story with dialogue, and you can do it as, you could probably do a 3-character scene in 4 shots and get out of there in an hour and a half. A little in the weeds, I apologize.
Hi.
Hello. I was just wondering, the charisma and the suave that you show as Riker, is that 100% Jonathan Frakes, or is that a switch you have to turn on?
The suave that I show? Is that a word that you threw out to me?
I would say suave, yeah.
What do you think? What do you think?
Suave, I think suave's a great word.
And what about throwing suave? It's like a knuckleball.
It's almost unexpected.
I like it.
Throw some suave.
More and more Riker, or more and more Frakes in Riker as time went on. When I was cast by the late great Gene Roddenberry, may he rest in peace. Yeah, right? The reason we're all here, really. More on him later. He wanted Riker, as he put it to me, this is a repeat for people who've seen it before, he wanted me to have what he referred to as a Gary Cooper Midwestern glint and never smile. So as you can tell, that was right in my wheelhouse. And I had that horrifying spandex spacesuit to the So I was so, I looked like I walked like I had a stick up my ass all through the first season. I was nervous because I was not supposed to smile, and it didn't start well. And then gradually, Gene and Berman and Morris Hurley and Hiller, they said maybe we should let a little more of Frakes' suave. It's a very good use of that word now. I'm starting to embrace it. I'm embracing it.
You can thank my anxiety for that one.
Your anxiety came up with that?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. I'll be using it. Does your anxiety work pulling onto your offspring? How ironic.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi. Hello.
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous.
Oh, you know what? It's going to be fun. It really is.
We'll do a take 2 if it
Okay.
doesn't work out, don't worry.
There's no judging here
Okay.
until we hear how shitty the question is. And then
No stupid questions.
there are no stupid questions.
Yeah, you only get stupid answers, right?
Nice one, Centurion!
So first I want to say that Star Trek has absolutely been like a huge impact on my life, especially Next Generations. Y'all continue to break huge barriers, make history, and Discovery was huge and monumental. And my question is, with Sonequa being the first of the Star Trek series to be a Black woman captain, I would like to know, did y'all know like how big of an impact that was going to be, and the feedback and some of the backlash to that? What are your thoughts on that?
I could do an hour on Sonequa. You know, I'm her biggest fan as an actor and as a human being. And I'm pretty sure they hired her with the intention of representing this role as a captain. And it was clear that Alex Kurtzman and Kiva and Michelle Paradise and all the writers realized that the story they were going to tell eventually, she was going to become captain. And I don't think it could have, I can't imagine anyone else as effective in the role. Both her passion, her talent, she did all her own stunts. She led the crew in a way that on a set, generally, the number one, which is the first person on the call sheet, is the person who sets the tone for how the day is going to be. And Sadiqa was the kind of number one who not only came prepared every day the way Patrick did, but she also, when she was done with her day's work, if one of her co-stars had a big scene later in the day after she'd been released, she'd go home and put her kid to bed and come back to the set and support the act. That's the person she was.
Thank you.
Hi. So Star Trek is one of the ways my dad and I have bonded, and so we'll sit and watch Star Trek. When I was going through Next Gen, I would text him from my college dorm, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" He's not able to be here today, but he sent me a question for you. He wants to know what it's like to direct yourself and your friends on the set of Star Trek.
That's a good question. It got easier and easier to direct myself as Riker because I knew him very well, and there was always, I used to use LeVar and Patrick as sort of a calling card. They'd make eye contact and they say, yeah, maybe this, maybe that, or your cinematographer. And then as I went, and I hadn't played Riker for a long time until we went back to Picard season 3, and I had Doug Arniakowski, who was the producing director, and Terry Metalis, who wrote the whole season and really, really understood Riker. And I take notes virtually from anyone. I feel it if I know that I've screwed up, I just do another take. Or if I think in my head I got an idea, I don't need to tell myself, oh, I think we should take another take. What do you think we should do? So I can self-note, if you will. But if I miss something, I depended on them to suggest, or especially the writer who had an intention that I didn't fulfill in a scene that I was acting in. And I remember once I did it long, like an idiot. I had staged myself pacing around the entire bridge of the what was that ship called on Discovery? Not Discovery, on Strange New on Picard, the Titan. The ship we stole, that Todd Stashwick, by the way, thinks it's his ship, it's my ship. And you can tell him when you see him. And as I passed gates, and I did a couple of rehearsals, I did a couple of takes, she whispered something to me that was so pithy and so important. She said, well, I think you should speed this up between here and here, or I think you should stop here for that. And it was a great note, and it was because we've been friends for 35 years, and because of the environment in which we work, that she felt free to give me the note. I felt grateful for the note, and it kind of works like that. It's kind of fluid, but generally, when you're playing a character for a long time, again, to reference my wonderful wife, she said, you were so relaxed in First Contact, and your performance as Riker was so cool and chill. And I said, yeah, thank you very much. She said, it's because you were exhausted. All you did was think about the directing. So when you sat down with your cool leather jacket as Riker, you weren't overthinking it. I mean, that's the worst kind of acting. When you overthink it, you don't live in the moment. All those cliches about acting are really true. That you got to stay within yourself, you got to know what you want, And if you overthink it, you've seen it. You've seen bad acting, and it's always because people are trying too hard, or pretending to be something they can't pretend to be, or not listening fully. So when you're tired, you're more relaxed, and when you're more relaxed, if the writing's good, you're better. Just simply the work is better. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your father.
Thank you. We have about 8 minutes left, so we'll try to get
So
as
make it
many
good. No
questions as
pressure.
possible.
All right, hello.
Hello.
A couple weeks ago, I went to another con in Oklahoma City, and Brent Spiner was there.
How'd that go?
It was great. Oh, fantastic. And
Did he sing?
He did not sing, but he did do a Roddenberry impression.
Johnny. No, he does Patrick Stewart. He really
He did that too. And that's part-
Did he do Patrick Stewart talking to Serena McKellen?
No, he did.
That's the inside baseball that you really want to see. The subtle difference between those two voices.
Well, you say inside baseball, but that's actually part of the question. He was telling about when he wanted to get one of his lines changed. he would usually get shot down on his own. So he conspired with Patrick Stewart to call up on his behalf and get his lines changed for him. So my question is, not now, of course not now, but in TNG, did you have any tricks when you really wanted to get line changed?
It was impossible to get lines changed. Patrick could do it, but generally he would do it the night before. He would wake Rick Berman up in the night and tell him I'm working on tomorrow's work and I need this thing changed. But it's lightened up a little bit now. It lightened up significantly, by the way, when Tawny and Jack came on from Lower Decks. Tawny's from Second City and Jack's a great improver. And I had Bill Wyckoff and Kat Lynn were the two writers of the show, and they were sitting with me on the set. And Tawny went off book, and Jack went off book. After we had to think this shot, the way it's written, and it was better. The ad-libs were better. And I looked at them, and we had a little powwow. I said, "Are you cool?" They said, "Yeah, we're cool. It makes us look good." So it opened up Anson, who's a wonderful comedian. It opened up Rebecca. It opened up Ethan. So on that specific episode, like the great moment, I don't know if you've seen the show, when Jack jumps on the saddle and yells, "Riker." One of my favorite moments in all of Star Trek. I didn't know he was going to do that, and I was sitting there under the camera, and I almost spoiled the take because it made me roar. It was hysterical. Riker! Are you kidding me? That's genius! I wish I thought of it! And it makes it to the cut. But in the old days, they were so strict, they thought they would Strindberg and Ibsen and Chekhov and Shakespeare and all in one, and it was just, a cable TV show. We weren't curing anything. But it was tough.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
No pressure, last question.
Pressured up.
You've got time. You still got 5.
So first of all, my wife's a huge Nut Pots fan, by the way. We got all kinds of Nut Pots in the fridge, so we're big coffee people.
Are you original or what new flavor?
Chocolate.
Are you serious in your coffee?
Yes.
So that's a mocha.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. Learn something in those conventions.
Anyhow, question is on the next.
Hold on, one more question. I buy it in 2 different stores. In one store it's in the refrigerator section, and the other store is on the dry goods shelf.
Yes.
And you?
The chocolate is Amazon subscription.
Oh, so it's not frozen or refrigerated?
No.
No problem?
No problem.
Okay. Very good to know. Nut Pot sales shoot up in the Dallas area.
Oh, and all to you. What's your question?
So anyway, next gen, Riker would often go up and talk to the guy sitting in the opposite helmet position, and he tended to put his foot up and lay down. And since Picard never chastised him for putting his feet on the furniture, I was curious. Was that something you just started doing, or was that a mechanism, given your height and their seated positions, that and reframe and better framing the shot?
That's a really good question. I went up there, I was always trying to get comfortable because I didn't have any pockets in my suit. And my suit was tight. And I'm antsy and itchy. So if I found anything like this, if I would come up, do you watch Dave Chappelle?
Oh, yeah.
Chappelle always does that, doesn't he? Also smokes. God, I wish I still smoked. So I would have come here and done this because that felt good, and now that I'm a director, I think maybe it gave the shot a little more integrity. I didn't try to get down into the meat of it, but you bring up a very good question with which I'll end the evening. Do you remember? Patrick Stewart was sitting in the middle of the bridge, right?
Yep.
While Bill Riker would be over where you are. Over here's Counselor Troy. Down front we've got LeVar and Brent or Will, and we would all interact when we talk to each other. We'd look at each other like this, and Brent would turn around, and LeVar would turn around, and this went on for 7 seasons, 182 episodes, 4 movies, and poor old dumb stupid Worf, the turtle, is up on the horseshoe, right? Never did Patrick or anybody ever bothered to look around and say, Mr. Warford. So Michael was not thrilled with this treatment. One day, I believe it was during Nemesis, we're called to the bridge for the scene. He comes on the stage, he goes up to the top of the wharf, and he's got an egg in his hand. And he stands, I'll let you be Sir Patrick. He stands behind Sir Patrick Stewart, takes the raw egg and crushes it on Patrick's bald pate and the albumin and the yolk ripped out reddish visage.
What was his facial
Fact
expression?
or fiction? Thank you very much. Peace out. Thank you for coming.